London, England, April 2nd, 2015. In the heart of the city's Diamond District, a quiet street called Hatton Garden holds a secret worth millions of pounds. Underground, locked behind thick concrete walls, sits a vault. Inside that vault are 996 safety deposit boxes, gold, diamonds, cash, family heirlooms, all of it sealed away, guarded by walls 50 centimeters thick. That's about 20 inches, almost as thick as a grown man is tall lying down. Tonight, that vault is about to be broken into, and the men who do it are not who anyone expects. It is just after 9 in the evening. Staff at Hatton Garden Safe Deposit lock the doors for the night. Tomorrow begins a 4-day Easter weekend. The shops above ground, hundreds of jewelry businesses, are closing up too. For 4 straight days, this building will sit empty. No workers, no customers, just silence. That silence is exactly what a group of old men have been waiting for. Minutes after the doors lock, a man walks toward the building. He is calm, unhurried. He looks like just another person heading home from work. But he is not going home. He is heading straight for the depository. Right behind him come 3 more men. They are pulling wheelie bins, the kind you'd see rolled out for trash collection. Nothing suspicious about that. This is London, and garbage bins are everywhere. But these bins are not carrying garbage. Hidden inside them is heavy equipment, drills, tools, everything they need to break into one of the most secure vaults in the country. The man who walked in first goes by one name in this story: Basil. Nobody knows his real identity yet. Basil is not just here to look around. He is here to make sure nobody and nothing sounds an alarm. Posing as an employee of a telecommunications company, the kind of worker who fixes phone lines and cables, Basil slips inside using a cover story nobody questions. He carries a silencer, a device meant to disable an alarm system quietly, without setting off warning bells. One by one, he shuts down the cameras. He shuts down the alarms. The building's electronic eyes and ears go dark. The path is now clear. The team makes their move. They take the lift up to the 2nd floor and jam it there, locking it in place so no one can use it against them. Then they force open the doors to the elevator shaft on the ground floor. Down they go, 14 feet down, into the basement, dragging their equipment behind them, guiding those wheelie bins full of tools down into the dark. Grown men, most of them over 60 years old, some pushing 80, hauling an industrial drill down an elevator shaft in the middle of the night. It sounds almost like a joke, but these are not amateurs. These are career criminals, and this crew has been planning this moment for months. Now they stand in front of the vault wall. 50 centimeters of solid concrete stand between them and everything they came for. But here's the thing: the fire. Rewind one day, to April 1st. Deep beneath London's streets, in tunnels that carry gas lines, electrical cables and phone lines, something goes wrong. A gas main ruptures. A spark from an electrical junction ignites it. Flames burst up through manhole covers in the middle of the city. Smoke fills the streets. Power goes out for local residents. West End theatre shows are cancelled. The fire burns for 2 days before crews finally put it out. Investigators later confirm this fire is not connected to the heist at all. It's a pure accident, caused by an electrical fault. Nobody planned it. But it could not have come at a better time for the burglars. Because of that fire, alarm systems across the area start acting strangely. False alarms go off left and right, confusing emergency services, who are already stretched thin, dealing with the fire's aftermath. When the real burglars trigger a genuine alarm at the vault, deep in the night, it barely registers as anything out of the ordinary. And that is exactly what happens next. Just after midnight, an alarm at the depository goes off. A real one, triggered by the break-in itself. The alert reaches London's police, and they do not respond. No officers show up. No one investigates. Between the chaos from the fire and the fact that there are no outward signs of forced entry, no broken doors, no smashed windows, the alarm is written off as another false alert in a night full of them. The old men keep drilling. Hour after hour through the night, they push their industrial power drill through the concrete. It takes them 2.5 hours just to break through the wall, and when they finally do, they hit another obstacle. Behind the concrete sits the back of a steel cabinet, bolted straight into the floor, solid, unmoving. They come prepared for this too. They've brought a hydraulic ram, a machine with 10 tons of crushing force, built to push through steel. They set it up. They power it on. It breaks. The ram snaps before it can even dent the cabinet. Hours of work, and they are stopped cold by a piece of steel that refuses to budge. By morning, the gang has nothing to show for a night of noise, sweat, and risk. Exhausted, they pack up and leave the building empty-handed. It's Good Friday now, and for a moment, it looks like the whole plan might fall apart. One member of the crew has had enough. Frightened by how close they came to failure, and worried about what might happen next, he walks away from the job for good. He wants no part of what comes next, but the others are not ready to give up, not after everything they've put into this. They go out and get a second hydraulic ram, and this time, they come back. That night, they return to the vault. Nerves are high. There is no guarantee the second ram will succeed where the first one failed. In fact, as they set it up, 2 more members of the crew lose their nerve completely and walk away from the building, leaving the job unfinished in their minds. The ones who remain push forward anyway. The second ram works. Slowly the steel gives way. The gap widens. And finally, after 2 nights of drilling, breaking equipment and nerves stretched to their limit, the old men climb through into the vault itself. Inside, row after row of safety deposit boxes wait for them. 996 boxes in total. Gold, jewelry, cash, documents. A fortune sealed away by people who trusted this vault with their most valuable possessions. The gang gets to work. Box by box, they pry them open, using the same wheelie bins that carried in their tools to now carry out the loot. It is not fast, it is not quiet, but there is nobody left in the building to hear them, and nobody outside checking on an alarm that's already been dismissed as another false call. They work through Friday, they work into Saturday. No security guard interrupts them. No police officer knocks on the door. The building sits in total silence above them, while, underground, a fortune is being loaded, box by box, into rubbish bins. By the time they finish, they have not managed to empty the entire vault. Far from it. Out of nearly 1,000 boxes, they only get into 73. But even that limited haul is worth an estimated £14 million in jewels, gold, and cash. Some reports at the time speculate that the true contents of the vault could have been worth over £100 million. The men slip away into the night, their bins heavier than when they arrived. And then, nothing happens. Sunday comes and goes. It's Easter Sunday, so the building stays shut, unchecked. Monday is a public holiday too. Nobody opens the depository. Nobody notices that anything is wrong. It is not until Tuesday, days after the gang has already vanished with their loot, that anyone finally raises the alarm and discovers the vault has been ripped open. When the story breaks, London is stunned. Early reports throw around numbers in the hundreds of millions. The reality, once investigators calculate the damage, settles at around £14 million. Still, it is enough to be called the largest burglary in English legal history. Now the hunt begins. The case is handed to the Flying Squad, an elite unit inside London's police force, built to handle exactly this kind of crime. Around 50 officers dig into the investigation. Inside the vault, they find almost nothing useful. No fingerprints, no DNA, nothing left behind by careless hands. These criminals had clearly done their homework, but old habits and old technology become their downfall. Detectives comb through days of CCTV footage from around Hatton Garden, and there it is, a distinctive white Mercedes with a black roof and alloy wheels, spotted near the scene multiple times in the weeks leading up to the break-in. It's not the plain white van used during the actual heist, but a flashier car used earlier, while the gang was scouting the building. Officers trace the license plate. It leads them straight to a man named John Collins. From there, the case unravels fast. While the gang had been careful to use walkie-talkies during the robbery itself, avoiding any digital trail that night, they had used their personal phones for months of planning beforehand. Investigators start analyzing call records, and the web of suspects grows. With enough evidence gathered, police get approval to plant listening devices inside the suspects' cars. What they capture next seals the case. These men, so careful during the actual break-in, cannot resist bragging afterward. Detectives record them describing their crime as nothing less than the biggest robbery in the world. Officers also learn that the stolen goods have already started moving. Some of the gang have begun selling off pieces of the haul. Police know that if they arrest even one member alone, the rest will scatter and disappear. So they wait. They plan. And on the morning of May 19, 2015, almost 6 weeks after the heist, 200 officers in riot gear stormed 12 addresses across London, all at the same moment. 9 suspects are arrested. Roughly £4.3 million of stolen goods, about a third of everything taken, is recovered on the spot. When the names and faces of the suspects reach the public, nobody can quite believe it. This isn't a crew of young, athletic criminals pulling off a Hollywood-style heist. These are pensioners. Brian Reeder, 76 years old at the time, nicknamed the Master, reportedly used his senior citizen's bus pass, the kind that gives free travel to the elderly, just to get to the crime scene. John Kenny Collins, 75, was said to have fallen asleep while keeping watch during the robbery. Terry Perkins was 67. Daniel Jones, the relative youngster of the group, was 58. Between them, the gang reportedly dealt with cancer, heart conditions, memory loss, hip replacements, and Crohn's disease. Despite their age and their ailments, they had pulled off what remains one of the most audacious burglaries Britain has ever seen. Justice moves quickly after the arrests. In March 2016, several core members of the gang pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit burglary. John Collins, Daniel Jones, and Terry Perkins are each sentenced to 7 years in prison. William Lincoln is also handed 7 years, while Carl Wood receives 6. Hugh Doyle, who was not involved in the break-in itself but helped store the stolen goods, is given a suspended sentence. Brian Reeder, the alleged ringleader, is sentenced to just over 6 years. But one man is still missing. Basil, the one who slipped in disguised as a telecom worker and silenced the alarm system, remains unidentified for years. It's not until 2018 that the police finally arrest him. His real name is Michael Seed. In 2019, he is found guilty of burglary and conspiracy to burgle. He is sentenced to 10 years. Even after prison, the story isn't over. Courts later order the ringleaders to repay millions of pounds in stolen value or face even more time behind bars. Some, like Daniel Jones, try to cooperate, at one point reportedly leading investigators to a stash of jewelry hidden inside a grave in a cemetery. Others, like Brian Reeder and John Collins, refuse to give up their share, choosing extra years in prison over handing back what they'd stolen. Reeder, suffering from a serious illness, was spared a return to prison because of his health. He died in 2023, having never revealed where the rest of his loot was hidden. Terry Perkins died in prison in 2018. To this day, only about a third of what was stolen from Hatton Garden has ever been recovered. The rest, millions of pounds in gold, diamonds and cash, remains missing, hidden away somewhere, known only to the old men who took it. It remains, to this day, the largest burglary in English legal history, pulled off not by young masterminds, but by a gang of elderly career criminals who very nearly got away with it all. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who loves a good heist story, and subscribe for more true crime cases just like this one.